Welcome back to the channel, guys. I hope all of you are having a great day so far. My name is Cbass, and today's video is going to consist of the best search and destroy classes that you should be using in Season 6 of Modern Warfare. If you enjoyed the video at any point, I would really appreciate if you could hit that like button, it helps me out a ton. And if you enjoy my content and you want to see more of it, make sure you hit that subscribe button. But without further ado, let's get right into this video. If you saw my previous video on the best SnD classes in Modern Warfare, this video is going to be very similar, just I did tune up some of the classes. Okay, for the first class setup I have for you guys, here's an overview of what the class looks like. So for the primary, we are going to be going over the CR56. The secondary I'm running for all these classes but one is going to be the Cali 6, and I just like to use the Cali 6 so I can get to the other side of the map very quick. I am a very rushy player, so the Cali 6 allow me to get to the other side of the spawn as fast as possible. If you're not a rushy player, you can do whichever secondary that you like. For the perks, they all suit my playstyle. If you have a different playstyle, I would switch up the perks, but for my very aggressive playstyle, these are the perks that I usually run. So I like to do double time, restock amped, and then I like to activate specialist. And so for my specialist perks, I like to do EOD Ghost Tracker. My preferable lethal is going to be C4, and my preferable tactical is going to be Stim. So I'm just going to say this one more time. All the perks, lethals, and tacticals are all personal preference. This is just what I like to run, and it's going to be the same for all the classes that I show you guys. For the loadout on the CR56, for the muzzle, I like to do the compensator just to reduce that recoil. I like to do the Zodiac barrel to increase that damage range. I like to do the commando foregrip to help stabilize my gun. For the rear grip, I like to do the stipple grip tape just so I have a little bit more mobility. I can ADS and have my sprint fire speed increased. For the rear grip, I like to have the stipple grip tape just to increase my mobility. I can ADS faster, and my sprint fire speed is going to decrease. For the stock, you want to do the no stock for the same reasons. This is just going to make it so you can be very mobile and have a high ADS speed. Say you want to be a little bit more sneaky, you could take off that compensator and add the monolithic suppressor just to increase that damage range a little bit more, which doesn't really matter, but you get that sound suppression, which is very nice. And that's going to wrap it up for that loadout. Now let's get into the second best loadout. And just so you guys know, these classes aren't set up in order. This is just 6 really good class setups and they're not in order. The next gun I want to go over is the Grau 5.56. So the Grau is one of the first DLC weapons in Modern Warfare, and since then it's always been like a meta weapon. It's always been very good. The Grau is actually used in CoD champs, so that tells you it's a very good weapon. So the setup I recommend for you guys to use on the Grau is for the muzzle you want to throw on the monolithic suppressor just to increase that damage range and add that sound suppression. For the barrel, you have 2 options. You can do the Archangel barrel or you can do the Nexus barrel. I recommend for you guys to try out both barrels and pick which one works best for you. I personally like the Nexus barrel. For the underbarrel, you want to do the commando foregrip just to help stabilize your recoil. For the rear grip, you want to do the XRK Void 2. This is going to increase that mobility, and the same reasons go for the no stock. And that's going to wrap it up for the Grau setup. Now let's get into the next setup. So the next setup I want to go over is a sniping class. It's always good to have a sniping class in Search and Destroy. Even if you don't snipe, it's good to have an option to be able to snipe. So the best sniper in Modern Warfare, in my opinion, is the SPR, which is the R700 from previous Call of Duties. So there is some variations with this class. You can do the sniper and the pistol and run like Ghost as your perk, or you can take out that middle perk and replace with Overkill, and then have like an MP5 sniper or MP7 sniper, which is going to be a little bit better, but it is a little bit scummy. Most people look down upon it. So if you do want to do Overkill, you can choose whichever secondary that you like the most. But in this case, I'm going to be using the X16. In the X16 class, I recommend you guys to try out is the monolithic suppressor, T5 NW laser, the lightweight trigger, the 26 round mags, and the stipple grip tape, or you can take off stipple grip tape and then you can add the akimbo perk. So with the SPR, I recommend you guys to do the monolithic suppressor just to increase that damage range and add that sound suppression, which is very nice if you're trying to be sneaky and snipe. You don't really need a barrel in this gun because you should be able to kill someone in one shot if you aim high at least. For the laser, you want to do the tac laser just so you can ADS a little bit quicker and you're going to get a plus to your aiming stability. For the optics, since we are treating this like a sniper, we're going to throw on the Solo Zero, which is the sniper scope for the SPR. For the stock, you want to do the blitz stock, and this is just going to increase your ADS speed and your sprint to fire speed, so it's pretty much just going to make you a faster sniper, which you want to be if you're using the SPR. For the ammunition, you want to do the normal mags. This is just going to increase that bullet velocity and that damage range. The part that we're really looking at is that damage range. This is going to severely reduce all those hit markers, so it's a great attachment to use. And that's going to wrap it up for the sniper side of things. Now let's get into the next setup. So the next one I want to talk about is a MP7 class setup. The MP7 is a very good gun. I would say it's probably neck and neck with the MP5. Just people don't really look down upon it like they do with the MP5. So the class that you want to use with the MP7 is going to be with the monolithic suppressor just to add that sound suppression and increase that damage range, which is the part that we really like about the monolithic suppressor. Since the monolithic suppressor is going to increase your damage range, you don't really need a barrel in this gun. You will get a little bit more hit markers at range, but this gun is a laser. There's literally no recoil. It's super easy to control, so you don't really need that extra damage range because it's very easy to hit your shots. For the laser, you want to do the 5 NW laser. This is going to add a plus to your sprint fire speed and your hip fire accuracy. I'll go over a little bit more in a second. For the stock, you want to do the no stock attachment. This is just going to increase your mobility make it so you can be very rushy with this class, which you are going to want to be with the MP7. For the rear grip, you want to do the stipple grip tape for the same reasons as the no stock. And finally, for the underbarrel, you want to do the Merc foregrip. And I say this so you get a higher hipfire accuracy. So if you have the Merc foregrip and the 5 NW laser, your hipfire accuracy is literally just going to be like a beam. It's going to be like this. You can just walk around the map, just hipfire, and you don't even need to aim. It is a little bit easier to do on PC, so if you're a console player, this setup might be a little bit hard to get used to, just because you don't have aim assist really while you're hipfiring. But if you're on PC, this is a god tier MP7 class. This is the setup that you want to use. So if you're not the best at hipfiring and you don't really like to do it, I would take off the laser and then add the strike barrel, just to increase that damage range and that bolt velocity, just so you get less hit markers at range, since if you are hipfiring, you are probably going to be using this gun at range. And that's going to wrap it up for the MP7 class setup. Now let's get into the next gun. So this setup is going to be the Uzi. The Uzi is my favorite gun in the game. This setup right here isn't my favorite, but this is like the best well-rounded Uzi setup in my opinion. So my previous setup doesn't have the multi suppressor, and then you have the no stock instead. This is probably my favorite setup, but it is very hard to control the recoil and it takes a long time to get used to. So I changed it to make it a little bit more friendly. So you don't want to have the stock and then you just want to add the multi suppressor. Just so you get that sound suppression, most people won't know where they're getting shot from, and you get an increase your damage range, which is super nice. For the barrel, you want to do the Carbine Pro, just so you get an increase your damage range, your bolt velocity, and your recoil control. So with this barrel and the muzzle, as long as you're accurate, you can literally take on ARs across the map, because if you're accurate, most of the time you actually can kill them faster than they can kill you. For the underbarrel, since this gun has a decent amount of recoil, you want to add a attachment that's going to help you control the recoil, and that is the Merc foregrip. For the ammunition, you want to do the 41 AE 32 round mags. This is what turns the gun into a god tier weapon. If you don't have this mag on there, it's complete dog shit. Don't even use the Uzi. But if you have this ammunition, it makes it literally so good. You get a plus to your damage and your range, which just turns this gun into like a mini AR. For the rear grip, you want to add the stipple grip tape because most of these attachments are going to slow down the Uzi. So the stipple grip tape is going to help out with your mobility. And that's going to wrap it up for the Uzi setup. Now let's get into the final class setup. And as you guys probably assume, this is going to be the AS Val. The AS Val is a newer gun in Modern Warfare, and it's completely taken over. It's like the only gun you see in Search. In Search, you see the M4, the MP7, the MP5, and the AS Val. That's literally all you come across. So I got you guys a very good AS Val setup. So for the barrel, you want to do the VLK 200mm OSA barrel. So you don't want to do this barrel for the damage range because it's not going to really help you in multiplayer. It's going to help you in Warzone, but not really in multiplayer. But you want this barrel for that bullet velocity because the velocity of the bullets on the AS Val is pretty slow. When you shoot at people, sometimes the bullets are going to trail behind them. So you think you're hitting them, but the bullets are actually going behind them. For the laser, you can do the 5NW laser if you're very rushy. Or if you want to be a little bit more accurate, I would do the attack laser. For the underbarrel, you want to do the commando foregrip just so you get a stabilization of that recoil. Recoil is pretty easy to control. All you have to do is pull straight down. This commando foregrip is going to make it so it doesn't really bounce around that much. For the end mission, you want to do the 30 round mags. This is just because this gun has a very high fire rate. So the fire rate on this gun is like the M13. So you are going to blow through ammo very quick. So it's going to be essential that you have the 30 round mags on there. And finally, for the rear grip, you want to do the stipple grip tape. This is just going to increase the ADS speed and that sprint fire speed. Since 3 of the previous attachments are going to slow you down, the stipple grip tape is going to help out a lot by bringing the mobility back up. And I think that is going to wrap it up for the best search and destroy classes that you guys should be using at the moment. I hope all of you have a great rest of your day or night, and I will hopefully see you in my next video.